I can't sleep. It's the fog. The damned fog. I've been lying here in my berth for over an hour, listening to the ship's horn echo through the darkness. A low, mournful sound, distant but constant. Every minute it calls out into the white nothing. Then silence. Then the call again. The SS Meridian is barely moving. I can feel it. The engines are running, but slowly, cautiously. Captain's orders, no doubt. You don't run full steam through fog this thick. Not in the North Atlantic. Not in November. I pull the blanket up to my chin. The cabin is cold. First-class accommodations on a British liner, and still the cold seeps in through the wooden panels. I can hear the sea outside, that constant whisper of water against the hull. Normally it helps me sleep. Tonight it doesn't. My pocket watch is on the small table beside the berth. I don't need to look at it to know it's past 2 in the morning. We've been in this fog since sunset. 6 hours of that distant horn and half speed, and the peculiar stillness that comes when you can't see more than 10 feet in any direction. I think about getting up, getting dressed, going to the smoking room where other restless passengers might be playing cards, drinking brandy, pretending the fog doesn't bother them. But I don't move. I'm 42 years old. James Harrison, merchant, widower, traveling alone from New York back to Liverpool. 3 weeks in America closing a deal on textile imports. Profitable, exhausting, pointless. That's the word that's been following me lately. Pointless. Margaret would have laughed at that. James, she'd say, you're too young to be so melancholy. But Margaret's been dead for 2 years now. Pneumonia. 3 weeks from first cough to the grave. I wasn't even there when she died. I was in Manchester, at another meeting, closing another deal. I wonder if the fog looks the same on deck as it does in my mind. Thick, white, impenetrable. A wall between what is and what should be. The ship rocks gently. A long, slow roll. I can hear footsteps above me. The night watch, probably. Officers on the bridge, straining to see through the fog. Down in the engine room, stokers feeding coal into the furnaces, keeping us moving forward at this crawling pace. How many people on this ship? 400? 500? All of us suspended in this white nothing, trusting that the officers know where we are, that the charts are correct, that no other ship is traveling the same invisible path through the darkness. The horn sounds again. That low, lonely call. Like the ship itself is uncertain, asking if anyone else is out there in the emptiness. I close my eyes, try to let the gentle rhythm lull me to sleep. The distant horn, the soft creak of wood, the whisper of the sea. 1 minute, another, and then impact. Not loud, not violent, just a deep, grinding shudder that runs through the entire ship. Metal against metal, a sound like the world scraping against itself. I'm thrown sideways in my berth. My shoulder hits the wall. The pocket watch falls from the table with a clatter. Then silence. No horn, no engine sound, just the sea, and somewhere, far away, shouting. I lie perfectly still for a moment, heart racing, trying to understand what just happened. We've hit something, or something has hit us. In the fog. I'm dressed in less than a minute. Trousers, shirt, jacket, no tie. I don't bother with shoes, just my slippers. The corridor outside my cabin is empty, but I can hear doors opening, voices calling out in confusion. What was that? Did we stop? Is everything all right? I head toward the stairs. Up, always up when something goes wrong on a ship. Up to the deck where you can see, where you can breathe, where you can escape if you need to. The stairwell is already crowded. Other passengers, some in night clothes, some half-dressed like me. A woman in a silk dressing gown. A man in evening wear, clearly just come from the card room. Everyone moving upward with that particular controlled panic of people who don't yet know if they should be afraid. The deck is chaos. Not the violent chaos of disaster, but the confused chaos of people who don't understand what's happening. Passengers clustering in groups, officers shouting orders, and the fog, Still the fog, thick and white and everywhere. I can't see 20 feet in front of me, but I can see the bow of the ship. Or rather, I can see where the bow should be. There's something wrong with the shape, something protruding. Dark metal where there shouldn't be dark metal. I push through the crowd toward the railing, and then I see it. Another ship. Massive. Close. So close I could almost reach out and touch it. A cargo vessel by the look of it. Older. Rust-streaked. Its bow has crushed into our side, just forward of amidships. The two vessels are locked together, grinding against each other with every movement of the waves. We collided. In the fog. Two ships on the same invisible path. "Everyone remain calm!" An officer is shouting, his voice barely audible over the confused murmur of passengers. "Please return to your cabins and await further instructions." But no one moves. We all stand there, staring at this impossible thing. This other ship, appearing out of nowhere, now wedged into our hull like a knife. I hear someone near me say, "Are we sinking?" The officer doesn't answer directly. He just keeps repeating, "Please remain calm, return to your cabins." Which means, yes, we're sinking. I look across at the other vessel. Its deck is lit by work lamps. I can see figures moving. Their crew, their officers. They're shouting too, running back and forth. Their ship is damaged as well. Maybe worse than ours. How many people on that ship? 50? 100? All of us on two ships, locked together in the fog. All of us in danger. An older officer appears. White beard. Calm face. He speaks quietly to a group of passengers near me. "The collision has breached both hulls," he says. "We're taking on water. Both ships. The pumps can't keep up. We have perhaps 3 to 4 hours before—" He doesn't finish the sentence. He doesn't need to. "The lifeboats?" someone asks. "We're preparing them now, but understand—" He looks at us with something like regret. "We have boats for perhaps half our passengers. The other vessel has even fewer. We'll do everything we can, but not everyone will survive." He says it without saying it. The woman in the silk dressing gown starts to cry. Quietly. The man in evening wear puts a hand on her shoulder. They don't know each other. I can tell. But in this moment, they need to touch someone. Anyone. I look back at the other ship. I can see faces now in the lamplight. A man in a dark coat. A younger man, maybe 20, staring at our vessel with wide eyes. They can see us just as we can see them. Two groups of strangers, 40 feet apart, all facing the same fate. The officer is organizing people now. Women and children to the boats first, then the elderly, then whoever is left. The old rules. The rules that Margaret would have followed if she'd been here instead of in the ground in Liverpool. I turn away from the crowd. I don't want a lifeboat. I realized that the moment the officer said, "Not everyone," someone younger deserves that space. Someone with a wife, children, a future. I have none of those things. I head back below deck. Back to my cabin. The corridors are emptier now. Most people are on deck, waiting for their turn at salvation or doom. My cabin is exactly as I left it. Unmade bed. Pocket watch on the floor where it fell. I pick it up. Still ticking. Still keeping time as the ship slowly dies. I have perhaps 3 hours left. 3 hours to think about 42 years of life. I sit on the edge of the berth and hold the watch in my hand. And I begin to remember. Margaret. That's where my thoughts always go. To her. To the life we had. 13 years of marriage. Not long enough. Never long enough. I remember the day we met. A garden party in Surrey. She was wearing a white dress and laughing at something her friend had said. I was 26 and thought I knew everything about the world. She was 24 and actually did. "You're the textile merchant," she said when we were introduced. "I am," I replied, trying to sound important. "How dreadfully boring," she said. And I fell in love. We married 6 months later, a small wedding. Her family didn't approve. I wasn't wealthy enough, established enough. But Margaret didn't care. I'd rather be poor with you than rich with someone tedious, she told me. We were never poor. My business grew. We had a comfortable house. No children. That never happened for us. And after a few years, we stopped hoping. But we had each other. We had dinner parties, weekend trips to the coast, quiet evenings reading by the fire, ordinary happiness, the kind that feels eternal until it ends. I should have been there when she died, should have been holding her hand. Instead, I was signing contracts, shaking hands, building wealth that meant nothing without her. The ship tilts, slightly, almost imperceptibly. But I feel it. The water is rising somewhere below, filling compartments, pulling us down. I wonder who else on this ship is sitting in their cabin, thinking about the people they've loved. The woman in the silk dressing gown. Does she have children? A husband? The man in evening wear. Did he kiss someone goodbye before boarding in New York? 400 souls on this vessel, 400 lives, 400 collections of memories and regrets and loves and losses. The young steward who brought me tea yesterday afternoon, cheerful boy, couldn't have been more than 18, told me he was saving money to bring his mother over from Ireland. Is he on deck now, helping with the lifeboats, or below, trying to get to the boats himself? The elderly couple I saw at dinner last night, married for decades, you could tell by the way they moved together, anticipated each other's needs. Are they on deck holding hands? Did they get a lifeboat? Are they together, at least? The ship's captain. I've never seen him, but I know he's up there on the bridge, doing his duty, going down with his ship, probably. That's what captains do. Not because they're heroes, but because they can't bear to survive when their command doesn't. 400 stories, 400 endings, tonight. And then I think about the other ship, the cargo vessel locked against our hull. I don't even know its name. Don't know where it was going, where it came from. But there are people on it. Maybe 50, maybe more. Each one with a life just as real as mine. The man in the dark coat I saw on their deck. Middle-aged, weathered face. A sailor, probably. Someone who spent his whole life on ships. Is this how he imagined it would end? Colliding with a passenger liner in the fog? The young man. 20 years old, maybe less. Does he have a sweetheart back in some port? A mother waiting for him? Did he go to sea for adventure or necessity? Their captain, their officers, their crew, all of them probably trying the same thing we're trying, getting lifeboats ready, making impossible choices about who lives and who doesn't. 2 ships, perhaps 500 people total. All of us locked in this moment. All of us waiting for the same ocean to claim us. The ship tilts more noticeably now. My pocket watch slides across the table. I catch it before it falls. Still ticking. Still counting down. And then my thoughts expand further. Beyond this ship. Beyond the other ship. Beyond even the ocean. Right now, at this moment, how many people are dying? Not just here. Everywhere. In hospitals in London, in villages in India, in cities across America, in farms in China, people taking their last breaths, closing their eyes for the final time, leaving behind the same things I'm leaving behind, memories, loves, regrets. How many? 100,000? More? The world is vast. Death is constant. And at the same time, how many are being born? Babies drawing their first breath, crying, living, beginning the same journey that I'm ending. The endless exchange, the constant turnover of souls, people arriving, people leaving, the world continuing without pause, without ceremony. I'm just one more among millions. My death will mean everything to me and nothing to the world. That should be terrifying. Instead, it's almost comforting. Margaret is gone. I'll join her soon, and the world will keep spinning. Ships will keep sailing. People will keep living and dying and being born. The fog outside my porthole is beginning to thin. I can see it. The white becoming grey. The grey becoming translucent. Dawn is coming, my last dawn. I think I should feel something profound. Fear, regret, anger. But I don't. I feel quiet, empty in a peaceful way, like a house after everyone has gone home. Still, silent, at rest. I think of Margaret again. Not her death, but her life. Her laugh. The way she read poetry aloud in the evenings. The way she insisted on planting roses even though she was terrible at gardening. The way she looked at me like I was remarkable, even when I knew I wasn't. "You're too young to be so melancholy," she'd say. But I'm not young anymore. And I'm not melancholy anymore either. I'm just ready. The ship lists further. I can hear water now. Distant but getting closer. The sea coming in. I stand. Put the pocket watch in my pocket. Leave the cabin. I want to be on deck for the end. I want to see the sky. The deck is quieter now. Most of the lifeboats are gone. I can see them in the distance, small shapes in the thinning fog, rowing away toward nothing. Toward the hope of rescue. The people who remain are the ones like me. The ones who accepted. The ones who chose to stay. The ones who gave their place to someone else. There are perhaps 50 of us, standing, sitting, leaning against railings, watching the sea rise toward us. The other ship is still there, locked against our hull. But it's lower now, sinking faster than we are. Their deck is almost level with the water. I can see a few figures there, men mostly, waiting like we are. The fog is lifting. The sky above is starting to show stars, thousands of them, more than I've ever seen. Out here, away from cities, the stars are endless. I find a spot near the stern, sit down with my back against the railing. The wood is cold and damp, but I don't care. An older man sits near me, grey hair, weathered hands. He nods at me. I nod back. We don't speak. What would we say? From somewhere below I hear music. Someone is playing a piano, a slow, gentle melody. I don't recognize it. It doesn't matter. It's beautiful. The ship tilts more. The bow is underwater now. We're sinking stern first. Slowly, gracefully almost. The meridian going down with dignity. I think about the name. Meridian. A line of longitude. A measurement of position. We were somewhere on the Atlantic. Exactly where, I don't know. Somewhere between New York and Liverpool. Somewhere in the middle of everything and nothing. The stars are brighter now. I can see constellations, the Pleiades, Orion, the same stars that Margaret and I looked at from our garden. The same stars that every human who has ever lived has looked at. Beautiful, isn't it? The older man says quietly. I look at him. He's staring at the sky. Yes, I say. It is. I'm glad I got to see them one more time, he says. The stars. Me too. The water is at the railing now. Cold, dark, inevitable. The piano stops playing. The musician has given up, or the water has reached him, or he's simply tired. The silence is profound. Just the sea, just the wind, just us. I close my eyes and think about everything. About Margaret, about the life I lived, about the lives around me ending at the same moment, about all the people in the world who are dying right now, and all the people being born, the great exchange, the endless tide. I feel the water touch my feet. Shockingly cold. I open my eyes. The deck is flooding. The stern is rising. We're going down. The older man stands, straightens his jacket. Well, he says, Time to go. He walks toward the rising water, steps into it, keeps walking until he disappears beneath the surface. Others are doing the same, walking into the sea, letting it take them. Gentle, quiet, dignified. I stand. My legs are shaking, not from fear, from cold, from exhaustion, from acceptance. I take the pocket watch from my pocket, look at it one last time. 3:47 in the morning, the exact moment, the end of all my moments. I drop it, let it fall into the water. I think of Margaret, I think of the stars, I think of the endless ocean and the endless sky and the endless cycle of souls. I step forward, the water rises to my knees, my waist, my chest. Cold, so cold, but I don't struggle, I don't fight, I let go. And the sea is gentle, the stars are bright, and I think, this is not an ending, this is just a return to the same darkness we all came from, the same peace we all go back to. The water closes over my head, and everything is quiet, and everything is still, and somewhere in the vast world, someone is being born, and someone else is dying, and the stars keep shining, and the sea keeps moving, and nothing ends, nothing truly ends. Everything just changes,